there, and welcome to the Flourish and Health Podcast. My name is Stephanie, and I'm so glad that you are here. My goodness, I cannot believe that Christmas is now done, and we're stepping into this new year, 2025. It's hard to believe that another year has flown by, and we get to step into a new year again. I'm excited about this year. I feel like this last year, it's gone by really, really fast, but it's also been long. There's been a lot of changes and shifts in my life. And so I'm excited to have something fresh and something new step into our lives. So I am excited to invite you into this little time of goal setting and just refreshment and review about where the year has taken us. So I had the privilege of speaking on my client success call on Saturday. And so I thought I would share a little bit about what I shared there because it's fitting. First of all, because I was talking about goals, and this is what better time to talk about goals than when we're jumping into a new year. But I'm hoping that it will be a good review for you if you've heard about the SMART goals before, or if it's brand new to you, then hopefully you'll learn some things that will allow you to really take on this idea of setting actionable goals that will help you see the results that you want to see.
Hi, and welcome to the Flourish and Health Podcast. My name is Stephanie Book, and I am so glad you are here. My hope is to help others see their life beyond where they currently are right now, move away from places where they feel stuck, and empower them to move into a flourishing life. Together, we will learn to recognize our true identity in Christ and apply a reframed mindset to combat the lies that we've been believing about ourselves. We will walk the journey of flourishing in our health, in mind, body, and our connection with God. I'm so excited to walk this journey with you as we create new habits of thinking and turn toward a life that is flourishing.
Before we jump in any further, I wanted to invite you to the 28-day Brain and Body Challenge. It starts January 1st. And if you're listening to this later than the first, it's okay. You can still join us. I would love for you to jump in, and it's free, or you can join in with a little bit of money and have a chance to earn some cash prizes as well. But I love this challenge because it's going to allow us to focus on our brains and our body as we jump into this new year. And so you can message me all the details. I have a link in the comments, or you can message me at steph.book and get all the information to register. It's free to register, and you might just want to join us. It's not on Facebook, so if you are not on Facebook, a lot of times these challenges are connected that way, and this is a special one. You don't have to be part of that. So just let me know if you'd like to learn more about the challenge or want to just enroll and be part of a great community of people all working together to create health and mindset health in their lives. So welcome back to the episode. So I am, like I said, had the privilege of speaking on Saturday to my client success call, and I thought it was fitting to share it again today because we're heading into the new year, and I love the start of a new year. It's just a chance to have that time of refreshment, renewal, and be able to set some goals. And I know sometimes our goals are hard to set. Sometimes we feel like they're resolutions, and I'm not talking about resolutions. I'm talking about goals that are actionable, that we can put in place, that we can measure, that we can see the results that we want to see, because we know that we want to create a healthy life for ourselves. We want to create a healthy mindset. And what better way to do that than to step in with some really smart goals? So I'm going to share a little bit about what I shared on my community call. And hopefully, if you listen to that, then it'll be a good review. And if you didn't, or you don't know what SMART goals are, then you're in for a treat, because this is a great way to structure setting goals for your life and for your business, or however it is, whatever it is that's in front of you that you want to learn, the way to grow, the way to step into new things. And I've talked a lot about goals on the podcast before, and so there's several different episodes throughout the years that you could learn more about goals or different things like that. But I wanted to focus on the SMART goals today, and then hopefully that it will be helpful to you as you set in to create some goals. So the format that I like to use a lot of the times is a SMART goals. And SMART is an acronym which makes it really easy to remember all the different aspects of a goal that you need to have. And so the SMART stands for specific, measurable, actionable, relevant, and timely. And so time bound. And so those are great letters that you can focus on each area of your goal. Because again, we don't want just to create a resolution, something that's not really going to, something that we wish for. Saying something as simple as like, I want to get healthy and lose weight. That's great. I want that for you. Believe me, that's what I want for you. But what if we shifted that a little bit and made some little bit more actionable, specific goals that we could create for you so that you could see the change and measure it and notice the things that are changing in your life and be able to celebrate them as well. So, and you know that I talk a lot about celebration because we don't always take that time to celebrate the things that we are doing. So the first one, specific, the letter S, is, again, like I said, specific. So it helps us be very specific in the goal that we're wanting to create. It's not like, again, saying, I want to lose weight. That's great. Or I want to read more books. Those are wonderful goals, but we want to make sure that we are really stepping into more specifics of those goals. So instead of saying, I want to lose weight, maybe I want to lose 20 pounds in 2 weeks by eating 6 balanced meals a day and drinking at least 64 ounces of water. So it gives you a very specific what you want to lose, the time frame that you want to lose, and how you're going to do it. Now, we're going to break that down a little bit more, and that I can't say the word, specificity? I can't say it. Okay, we're going to try. You know what I'm trying to say. It gets down the specifics to what you want to create in your goal so that you're getting the results that you want to see. And so specific, we want to be specific on what we're wanting to create in our lives. So the second part is measurable. And I think each time we add another step of the SMART acronym, then we're able to see how this builds into a really quality goal that you can actually step into. So the next one is measurable. How can you measure the goals that you're setting for yourselves? So maybe having a tracker so that you can say, hey, I ate. Each time you ate, you put that down 6 times a day. You're writing down, okay, I ate my first meal, my second meal, or however it is, whatever program you're using. What are the parameters that you can set for yourself to measure? Maybe weighing yourself on the scale once a week so that you know, hey, then you can have a physical way of tracking the progress, but then you also can have your progress that you're making every day. And what's really cool is when you have this measuring area of your goal, it's nice because then you can also, at the end of the week or the end of the couple weeks, you can actually look at that and really evaluate where you are and how well you're doing with that. So it actually helps you measure to see, was the goal too lofty? And we're going to talk about, achievable and relevant soon, but measuring your goals will give you that a lot of data that you will be able to learn if this goal is going to work for you, if you're on track. And maybe give you some clues of where maybe things need to be tweaked later on. So measuring is an amazing part of that goal. So you want to be able to measure what goal you're setting. How can you know that you're reaching the goal that you want to create? The third one is achievable. So we want to make sure that the goal that you're setting is achievable. We don't want to be so far-fetched out of there that it's not something that you can achieve. Now, I want to preface, it is important to have those big goals, the big C goals, those goals that you're not even sure, how it's going to happen, but you really want to move toward that big thing. And you can move and back step to do that. But I'm talking about some goals that we're setting for ourselves today that are SMART goals, that are really ones that are achievable, stretch you a little bit, definitely move you beyond your comfort zone or maybe move you beyond where you are now, because otherwise if it's a goal, there's got to be some type of movement, right? So I'm not necessarily talking about those really big goals, and I think there's a place for that, but I'm focusing today just on those actionable goals, those achievable goals that you can place in your life so that you can see the change that you want to create. And so you'd be able to step in and create specific, the 2 weeks, or the 10 weeks that you want to lose 2 pounds a week for 10 weeks. That's very measurable. It's achievable, right? There's a plan. You're eating 6 meals a day, then they're balanced, they're healthy, you're drinking your water, and you're balancing that out. And so you'll be able to measure, okay, I'm losing about 2 pounds a week. I'll be able to achieve that goal. And I think 20 pounds in 10 weeks when you're following a good plan is doable. But, I've went so many years before I found my health program where I didn't have a plan. I just said I wanted to lose weight, but I didn't really have a specific plan or how I was going to do it, how I was going to track it. I just thought I'll just eat better and hopefully it will come. So this is really important. Another way to look at it is I talked about reading a book. And I like this example because we get these big ideas, especially at the beginning of the year, and think, oh, I want to read so much more. I want to get better at reading. So I'm going to make a big, huge goal. I'm going to make a goal. I'm going to read 52 books a year. Awesome. But how much are you reading every day? So I would challenge you, if let's say I ask you, well, how much are you reading a day? And you're like, well, I'm not really reading anything a day. Okay. Well, maybe we can shift that goal a little bit. Maybe 52 books is a little bit lofty. Maybe it's not as achievable for you personally. Now, I'm not saying you can't do it if you really put your heart to it, but what can you do to change it so that it's more specific for you or fit? So maybe, how about we look at maybe 12 books a year, and that might be too much too, but let's start with that. So, and there's always the change for some adjustments along the way. And that's why we measure them. And that's why we do evaluation too as we go through. So how about you do 12 books a year? And that means maybe one book a month. And then you can break that down even farther into small little micro habits or little millimeters where, okay, so let's say the book is 100 pages long. It's probably not very accurate, but let's say that it is. And so what is that? Well, there's 4 weeks in most months. So, okay, so we'll do 25 pages a week. And then you could break that down to whatever, 5 pages a day or whatever, whatever. So it gives you an idea so that you can have that thing, you can measure it, you can track it, you can know what you're doing, and it's a more achievable. And you can see, oh, well, I can read 5 pages a day, or I can read 10 minutes a day or whatever. So it actually makes it more exciting and doable. Like you're like, oh, I can do this. So that's achievable. The next one is relevant. It's really, why is this relevant to you? What is making this goal a good one for you right now? What is your why? We talk a lot about that. Like, what is the foundation for the goal that you're creating? You just want to, I want to lose weight. Well, most of us have a reason, right? Maybe it's because you want to be able to go into the dressing room and put on clothes and not worry if they're going to fit or not, not trying to go over the muffin top, but you're like, I just want to grab a pair of pants, try them on, and they fit. Or maybe it's you really want to be able to do more activity. You love riding your bike, but you're just kind of you don't have the health you need to be able to do that. So maybe it's that, or maybe it's getting down on the floor and playing with your grandchildren and be able to get back up when you're done, right? So there are all kinds of different goals. And maybe you're wanting to expand your mindset. Maybe, for me, maybe I know that I want to add in a little more nonfiction reading, but I also want to bring in some fiction reading because I tend to just read nonfiction books. And I think it'd be good to do some escape, where maybe in my books that I'm reading, I want to add one book a month that I'm reading that's for fiction, or a couple, every 2 months read at least one book of fiction, right? So you can do those different things to those goals that you want to expand who you are and step into the flourishing life that you want to create. What is the why? And those whys is what really fuels us as we go along to help us see, when those days might be a little bit harder, we get to look at what we're doing this for and what we're creating it for. Because if you're just doing it because you feel like you have to do it, if there's no good foundation underneath it, if there's no relevancy to your life, then most likely it's going to fizzle out. And so we want to be relevant in what we're choosing as a goal. And then the last one is time bound or timely. So we want to give a time frame for our goals. Now, again, I think that we don't want to be so stringent on this time frame, but I think it's a good guide for us, right? So in that goal, if I want to lose 20 pounds in 10 weeks, right? That's easy to measure, 2 pounds a week for 10 weeks. But again, as we're measuring, as we're tracking the different things that we're doing, we might find that I'm only losing about a pound a week. So you might need to adjust a little bit, but that's okay. That's still progress. If we look at that measuring, when we look at all the things that we've been measuring along the way, and maybe you've done really well, but you had one day that you made some choices that didn't feed your body well, but you still did, 20 some days that you did perfect or you did really well. So we're wanting to look for those habits and things that we're doing and be able to find the balance for our goals. But I think it's a good amount. It gives us time bound where we're taking a really big goal sometimes and breaking it down to smaller goals, right? Just with reading the book. Oh, I want to read a book a month. we go breaking it down week by week and then day by day. So we have a time-bound goal, but it gives us, then we step backwards and make those different micro habits or those little habits that we can add in to reach to those goals. So, but it gives us a good focus. And I like to do time-bound goals so they're not just the full year across. I think that it's nice to put them up in more little bit chunks so that we can get to that point a little bit easier. It gets us excited and then we can move on. So if you wanted to lose more than 20 pounds in the next year, you can set that first goal. And then when you reach that goal, you take a minute, you celebrate, and then you look, okay, well, now what do I want to achieve in the next couple months or next 3 months? And so take those time-bound goals and you take those bigger chunks, those really big goals, and break them down, and so that you can see the progress, that you can see the excitement and celebrate the wins that you are achieving as you go. So I know I talked really fast. I had a lot to share, but those SMART goals should help you as you set in to create the goals that you want for your next year. And so there's all different areas you can do. Maybe you want to create a few different goals. Maybe one with your health, maybe one with your mindset, maybe one with your business. How could you grow? Maybe it's an income wise, or maybe it's scheduling your content and having a certain amount of time. For me, one of my big goals is I want to eventually get to a point where I have 4 podcasts recorded ahead of time. So that's a big goal for me. So I'm going to look at that and how can I start building that up so that by the end of the year, I have a month or 2 ahead of podcasts ready to go for you guys, because I know that will cause the relevancy is it will cause a lot less stress for me trying to make sure everything is edited and ready to go. And then I can work on sharing other things with you when I'm not focused on trying to get the podcasts out. So there's going to be all these different, I haven't thought through it yet, but that's just one that came to my mind that I know I get to look at, break it down and think, okay, well, how am I doing right now? What does it take for me to get to having 4 weeks ahead of time? And it will be batching. There's all this different things, but I can start setting in motion a SMART goal to help me achieve that. So friends, I hope that this was helpful. Hopefully it wasn't too overwhelming, but there are all kinds of different resources that you can look up. I'm sure there's videos all over the place that will talk about SMART goals or ways that you can find out more about that. Or please feel free, message me, put a comment put a comment in the comments or just reach out to me on Instagram at steph.book, or just follow me on Facebook or wherever it is that you like to follow, and we can discuss goals. I would love to be able to step in and help you create the goals that are going to be good for you and fit you relevantly right where you are living in your life. Because I say this every week, but I do believe that you are capable and worthy of a full and flourishing life. And I want you to be able to set those goals to help create that for your life. So friends, I want to wish you a wonderful and happy new year. And I thank you so much for joining me in this journey with my podcast. And I look forward to a whole new year of more topics and things to share with you. And as always, if you would please share this with anyone you think it might be helpful to. I want to be able to help others, help them see their worthiness, help them see that they can too live a full and flourishing life.
Thank you so much for joining me as we walk towards this life of flourishing. I appreciate you taking the time to listen and would love, love, love for you to take a moment to subscribe to my podcast and maybe even leave a review. Likes and reviews like yours will allow my podcast to be seen by others and hopefully help them as they walk through their own journey of growth. So until next time, please remember that you are amazing, my friend, and you are meant to live a life full and flourishing. Take care.